A NASCAR driver just called out his own sport for forcing its stars to lie to your face, not a fan, not a media pundit. A current Cup Series competitor live on a podcast saying the quiet part out loud, that NASCAR's punishment system doesn't run on rules. It runs on whoever gets caught talking. And this week, that theory got tested. 2 revenge wrecks happened in the same race. 0 punishment. Compare that to a driver who got fined $50,000 and docked 25 points for 1 angry radio call weeks earlier. Something doesn't add up. And Chase Briscoe just torched the whole system for it. Here's the situation in plain terms. At Chicagoland, 2 separate incidents happened that sure looked like retaliation. Shane Van Gisbergen and Austin Hill made contact. Hill got turned into the wall. And under caution, Hill returned the favor by sideswiping Van Gisbergen before parking the car. Same day, different fight. Carson Hocevar and Zane Smith collided, and Smith spun Hocevar right back in an apparent payback move. NASCAR reviewed both. NASCAR fined nobody. No points, penalties, no suspensions, nothing. Now, rewind earlier this season at Texas, Ryan Preece got frustrated with Ty Gibbs, vented on his radio in the heat of the moment, and then turned Gibbs into the wall 26 laps later. NASCAR treated that radio outburst as a smoking gun. Result, a $50,000 fine and a 25-point penalty. Same sport, same season, wildly different outcomes. None of this happened in a vacuum. These grudges had been building for weeks. Van Gisbergen Hill tension traces back to Pocono, where an aggressive 3-wide move squeezed Van Gisbergen out of the race entirely. It resurfaced again in San Diego, where a locked brake mistake from Hill collected Van Gisbergen for a second straight week. By the time Chicagoland rolled around, this wasn't a random racing incident anymore. It was a rivalry with a paper trail. Same story with Hocevar and Smith. Their beef dates back to a DNF-causing run-in from the 2025 Iowa race. Chicagoland was round 2. So why does this matter beyond one weekend? Because NASCAR's entire disciplinary system leans on one thing: proving intent. And right now, drivers are learning that intent only counts when you're careless enough to say it out loud. Stay quiet, wreck someone, and apparently the sport looks the other way. Then on the radio first, and you're writing a check. That's the exact double standard Chase Briscoe called out on the Rubbin Is Racing podcast. His argument isn't that retaliation should be banned. It's that NASCAR is punishing honesty, not the actual crime. Let's break down why this is a bigger problem than one bad week of officiating. First, the strategic angle. If drivers learn that silence is a legal shield, you're training an entire garage to stop communicating on the radio during heated moments. That's got a small side effect. Team radio is often used for safety call spotting strategy in real time. Creating an incentive to go quiet at the exact moment tempers are highest is a genuinely risky trade-off. Second, the credibility angle. Tommy Baldwin's read on this is that NASCAR is trying to make an example out of drivers who use the radio as a confession booth. That might sound like smart optics on paper. In practice, it teaches competitors to hide behind vague explanations. I got in there too hot. I hate it for him. While everyone in the sport, including the officials making the call, knows exactly what happened. Third, the consistency angle, which is really the whole crisis here. A sanctioning body only has one asset that matters long term: trust that the rulebook applies evenly. The second, fans and drivers believe punishment depends on whether NASCAR happened to catch a radio transmission rather than what actually occurred on track. The credibility of every future penalty gets weaker. Ryan Preece isn't just paying a fine. He's become the cautionary tale that teaches every other driver to keep their mouth shut and let the wreck speak for itself. Is that smart from a legal risk standpoint for NASCAR? Maybe in the narrowest sense. Less recorded evidence, fewer definitive statements to punish. But it's dangerous for the product because it rewards deception over accountability. Exactly the outcome Briscoe is warning about. The reaction split has been loud on both sides. One camp agrees completely with Briscoe. Drivers policing drivers is part of NASCAR's DNA, and adding a layer of forced dishonesty on top of that just makes the sport feel scripted and untrustworthy. The other camp pushes back, arguing that if NASCAR punished every retaliation wreck the same way it punished Preece, half the field would be sitting out races, and short track style payback has always been part of the sport's identity. But even in that second camp, almost nobody is defending the inconsistency itself. The frustration isn't about whether payback should happen. It's about a governing body picking and choosing when to enforce its own standard. So where does this go from here? Two scenarios. Best case, NASCAR hears the noise, quietly recalibrates, and starts grading incidents by what happens on the racetrack rather than what gets said over the radio. Drivers stop feeling pressure to lie in post-race interviews, and the sport gains credibility instead of losing it. Worst case, nothing changes. Drivers learn the lesson Briscoe is describing right now: stay silent. Deny everything, let officials guess, and NASCAR ends up with a garage full of competitors who trust each other's word less and less. While post-race interviews turn into a wall of rehearsed non-answerers, that's a bad outcome for a sport that has always sold itself on raw, unfiltered personalities. So here's the real question. If NASCAR is willing to let 2 Chicagoland incidents slide without a single penalty, was the $50,000 hit on Ryan Preece ever really about the wreck? Or was it about the radio call? Drop your take in the comments. Are you with Briscoe on this one, or do you think NASCAR made the right calls this week? If you want more no-filter breakdowns of the stories NASCAR doesn't want trending, make sure you're subscribed to SportsWire USA. We're just getting started.